I am in search of something this year. Something better. From pens to knockoffs to Sharpies to more.
No funny skit today, just some life advice. Fountain pens are the most boss power move you can make, because people be like, oh hey, you need a pen, and they try to pawn off their like nice pen, then you pull out your fountain pen, unsheath it, put it back in, and you're just like, you know what, I got my own pen. And you start writing. That's a power move. Kids, that's a power move. But with that said, let's review this thing because I actually really like it. So I think we should start with looking over the pen, because this is a really nice looking pen. Very simple. I like simple pens, so for me this was, had enough detail that it wasn't too much, but not enough that it was just a pen. But we got zebra fountain pen. I like that. I even like how it has the little leaf at the end, which is really nice. Now, one design element I like about this pen is this side piece right here. It says ink level. Now, you can't really tell because this pen is full of ink, but this is the pen I've been using to take notes with in class, and you can see that it's empty. So you can see the ink level here is completely gone, and this one is full. I like that design. And something about the actual ink quality of the pen. First off, it's a gel pen, which threw me off because I'm not a gel pen kind of guy. I only really use gel pens when I'm taking notes in class, but this took a good 6 or 7 months to actually empty. I was able to complete all my classes this year with just one of these pens, which, yeah, I gotta say, that's impressive. Most of the time, pens I have don't do that, but this had a good amount of ink in it. These pens do cost about $250, so I really had to factor that into this review, which is why this review took so long, because if you've seen my Battle Loot show, you know that I buy these and I like them, but that was a while ago, so everyone was kind of wondering when the review would come. Well, here it is, because I really wanted to see the ink level. To me, for a $2 pen, for a $2.50 pen, I really gotta consider the ink level in it. And you know what? It didn't fail, because 7 months of taking notes, that's good. That's good. Now, this pen, I'm gonna put this one off to the side, has not been used. It's freshly purchased. It has the little price tag, which can be removed, as you can see. So you can just peel that off and deal with a little stickiness for a few days and you're good. But it comes off super easy. One thing I like, there's a little spring in there. I really like that feature. That's really nice because it gives it a little kick and a little oomph, which I like. And it just goes on the back. Got a little clip so you can clip in your pockets. And the head of the pen, not bad. Got a nice little chrome tip, black bottom. And let's test it out. I have the Batman sketchbook that we do all our tests in. And let's turn to a random page and just start drawing. So first off, like I said, it is a gel pen, which threw me off at first. But after I got past that, it honestly wasn't that bad of an experience. I do enjoy gel pens when I'm taking notes. Besides that, I don't like to ink with gel pens. So overall, it is a pleasant experience just kind of doodling with it in class and for taking notes. So for example, a lot of times in history of animation, it was my main course taking class where I took notes. So I would have to write notes real quick. So we do Winsor McCay. So we talk about Winsor McCay. We would talk about Rob Bashby. We would talk about many of the animation giants. Tex Avery, we talk about him. So it's really good for taking notes, especially, I personally am really bad at taking notes when the professor's talking, but when it comes to taking notes on like a PowerPoint or on the screen, it's really good for that because you can see it and you can just be like, okay, I won't misspell this dude's name. But it's really good for letters. So for example, I can write my name, I can actually go in. And one thing I like is that you can easily find, like what I did here, find where you left off and add that extra letter. So I could just write, okay, I got distracted, well, let's finish it off. And it flows really, really well. I like that. But let's do my signature right there. I really like how it writes. It's very smooth, which, gel pens are typically smooth. So, you can do letters. Let's do an S. I feel like that's a good like test is like cursive letters, like cursive S's. T's are a really good one. R's, especially the way I do an R, you know, that's a good one, so let's do that. K's, you know, just these curvy letters that have a lot of circles and a lot of movement to them are really good ways to test gel pens. And this goes really well. You can see, you can layer it like that, which keep in mind, because this is a gel pen, it needs a little bit of time to dry because you're gonna smear it, as you can see. So you can layer it and really color in with it, and then boop, smear. So just keep that in mind. So if you're writing, you know, you can be like, okay, yep, teach, I'm taking notes. Yep. I smeared it. It's not too bad with just, you know, letters, like, you know, writing my name. It's not gonna smear too much, but if you're coloring something in, it's gonna smear pretty bad. Now, another thing to keep in mind, and I don't know if it's just with gel pens and my inexperience with gel pens, or if it's just this type of gel pen ink that they're using, but for certain papers, it will actually absorb the ink more out of it. Now, this is my Cthulhu sketchbook. I did all my Inktober sketches, so if you haven't seen that video, link on screen. And one of the sketches I did was kind of my version of the Kirby Crackle. Let's see if I could find it. Here it is. I call them Josh Jags, and this whole entire page was filled with this pen. Actually, not this pen, this empty one, but it was using this ink. And one thing I noticed is the paper of this sketchbook really absorbs out the ink. And what I mean by that is when you place down a line here, you really have it as one line, while on this paper you can see that it really kind of absorbed it and made it smear more. I'm not really sure why. I don't know what kind of paper this is. This sketchbook doesn't say what kind of paper it is. It didn't come in any packaging. There we go. So I like how it comes out. And the only thing I would worry about with a fountain pen, and I can't really get it to do it on camera, but sometimes when you're drawing, it just kind of stops, and that's because the flow of ink isn't right. And you may have to kind of be there, and I'm going to use this pen to demonstrate what I mean. You may have to kind of like hit it down, you may kind of have to go at it like that, really get the ink to flow again, but that's just with fountain pens in general, and I have normal pens that do that, so I'm not going to hold that against the pen, but it is something to keep in mind. It does do that weird thing where, you know, the lighter you press on it, the lighter the pen gets, but, you know, I don't have enough control to actually take advantage of that. So, but, you know, it is a feature that is part of this pen, that's part of all pens, but I thought I should mention it. So yeah, now that we've really tested out the pen and we have a good idea of really how it writes and how it looks, I have this quick little sketch I did before I started filming. This is of my original character, Wrath. It was done in a blue pencil. This is the Prisma blue pencil. So I'm gonna go in, ink it only using this pen. Normally with my drawing challenges, I give myself a Sharpie to fill in the areas, but today I thought, you know what? I'm going to actually just use a fountain pen. I'm only gonna use this pen, and this is gonna be my art challenge for this video. So let's start inking it with this bad boy, and we'll see how the quality works for art projects, because I will say right off the bat, this is great for note taking, but let's test it out for art. Okay guys, I normally don't do commentary right after I finish the dang drawing, but I'm going to do it this time. I do truly like the Zebra fountain pen. I think this is a really good pen. I think it's great for notes and calligraphy. But I just did an entire little ink only using this pen, and you saw how much trouble I had. It's weird because I had more trouble using this pen than I did with this one. I really didn't have problems like this. For some reason, it just didn't want to work. It was really a pain to really do the coloring, as you could see, to really color this in, really ink it in. Right now on camera, it actually looks really good, but up close, you could see like, oh, there we go, like a lot of little gaps. If I was more trained with gel pens, I could probably use like a wash technique to do small highlights in detail. But honestly, I just don't think it's worth it. I still do like this pen, and I still plan on actually using it for notes and for maybe a little calligraphy. In fact, real quick, you can see that it dropped a little bit, so I used a lot. But in terms of drawing and for inking, definitely a big no. No. I even had to use some corrective stuff. You know, I used a white Posca pen because when I was shaking it to get the ink to work, it just spewed out ink and actually stained my desk a little bit, which this pen never did. So I'm going to assume, because of my experience with this one, that this one is slightly defective and it's not working at its full potential. But even then, I still would only recommend this pen simply for calligraphy and note-taking. In terms of an actual piece of art, like tool, it could be used. Maybe someone who's more used to and trained with gel pens, definitely. But for me, I'm actually just going to say no, but I'm still going to use it for calligraphy and notes. So with that said, that is my review of the Zebra fountain pen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and this will also be available on my Artstation account, so if you guys want to take a look, it's right down in the description, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.